JamieStarr here. So I wanted to do this video for you guys while it was like fresh on my mind because there are things where I'll see articles. First off, let me tell you, the rush to try to do this right now, spilt coffee all over. I fucking almost cut off part of my finger. Can you see that? Let me make sure you can see this. See that? That shit, my finger, it's like glued on part of it because I have to do this fucking event tomorrow for my job instead of going to Bilderberg, which sucks, but it's just me and my boss, so we got to do it. Anyway, so I come home and I'm having this shit day, as we can tell, spilling coffee, fucking chopping off my finger, everything else, having to do a million things at once, and this thing tomorrow, and having like no sleep. And then I check the headlines, and I find things that just cheer me right up, like Katy Griffin doubling down. Now, I pull articles all the time. Like I still have Tariq Nasheed and Richard Spencer's debate I want to comment on. That was weeks ago at this rate. There's so much stuff I pull, or I'll find things where I'll be able to link to articles. Like a while back, there was this gem, Samantha Bee. America does not have a smug liberal problem. And there was something else that happened that very week that was super smug liberal. And I want to cover them together, but then this happened. And this is probably the smuggest liberal nonsense you could ever see. So, for anyone who doesn't know, for anyone who's been out camping for the past couple days, Katy Lee Griffin, first of all, I forgot about her. She's so irrelevant. I constantly confuse her with Sarah Jessica Parker. And as we'll see in the next thing, even though I personally do like some of his music, the only person less relevant than Katy Lee Griffin is Marilyn Manson, perhaps. So, she puts out this shock picture to try to get some headlines of her holding a beheaded, fake Trump head covered in blood. And, it's just shocking. It's not funny. There's no joke. It's not tied to anything. And the only thing she tries to tie it to is this, there was blood coming out of her, whatever, the remark made about Megyn Kelly, which they're still trying to claim he didn't apologize for, and all this other nonsense. I've said it a million times. If they had their way, the presidents would just be on apology tours. That's pretty much what Obama did. Funny, though, Obama never apologized for any of the awful shit he did. He would always just try to be like, well, folks, we gotta... We feel bad for the cops that are dead, but you gotta understand, history of racism, white supremacy, the inequalities and inequities between people of different races, folks. So glad he's gone. So glad. I hate being talked down to. And more than I hate being talked down to is I hate these smug liberals who don't realize they're being talked down to because they think they're up on this pedestal with him. I mean, funniest thing to ever happen during the Obama presidency is I was working at a dry cleaners. Now, at this point, I'm in a hip-hop group, producing hip-hop. My circle of friends is like a goddamn goon squad, and it's just, I'm ghetto as fuck, basically. Incidents going down there like some Pulp Fiction shit. You're talking houses getting their doors kicked in, people's shit getting ransacked, guns being pointed in every which direction at the neighbors, at the girlfriends, wild shit. The shit that people that see in movies and they think would be fun or exciting to live through. It's exciting, but it's not fun. It's stressful. And you gotta be a certain type of person to be cut out for it. Trust me. I could tell some stories. Oh, man. Anyway. So, smug liberal problem. Katy Lee Griffin does this shit. Then she comes out and apologizes because actions have consequences. So she puts out this apology. I don't know if there's a picture where she doesn't have makeup on and, everything like that. So all this goes on. And before all this, the night that this happened, I'm watching a podcast from Mike Cernovich, and he's like saying, oh, well, the difference between me and all the other conservatives. All the other conservatives would just be like, imagine if it was us. Imagine if it was someone else. Imagine if it was one of them who did this. Imagine. And he's like, you know what we're going to do? Let's go after our advertisers. Let's do the same thing they do to O'Reilly and Hannity and Milo and everyone. Let's go after the advertisers. Let's say, we're not going to buy your products if you associate with this. And here's the thing. When you're a smug liberal, you don't think there's millions of people that voted for Trump. You think the Russians put him into office. So you're in this sort of echo chamber bubble, especially in an echo chamber and a bubble if you don't even think there is a liberal problem or a smug liberal problem. So I wake up, come home the next day, and I see CNN has dropped her, Squatty Potty's dropped her, so a bunch of her events got canceled and everything like that. So the child that Katy Lee Griffin is, didn't realize that sometimes your fake apologies don't do the job. Now, because she's in this echo chamber and bubble, doesn't realize that there are people making this happen, that there are masses, that there's millions of people hitting up CNN and everything else. They think somehow that Trump is doing it. I mean, when we go through this will really show you the smug liberal problem. The fact that they think this is a First Amendment issue, as if someone is trying to stop her from speaking. No, you're bad for business. You present yourself in a manner that is offensive to potential customers. It's just business. But now Katy Lee Griffin, out there posing with a beheaded Trump thing, then doing her fake apology, then because her fake apology wasn't enough for everyone, oh, well, now she's doubling down and now she's on the attack. I mean, I even sent her a tweet. Have fun digging this hole because it's going to be the most entertaining thing you have ever done. This woman is on a full speed ahead path of self-destruction. And she doesn't realize it because she's a smug liberal. She didn't get the note when Joy Villa showed up at the Grammys. And I have to say, more and more, I'm very, very, very impressed with the power of Twitter and all of these other social networks and campaigns that work. I mean, some of them are shit, and some of them don't do things I agree with. But I'm very impressed with this sort of... it's somewhere in between a angry mob and direct democracy. That's what I'm seeing it as, where it can go one way or the other. It can be really awesome or it can be really shitty. So anyway, let's take a clip of this thing. And I'm telling you, at first when this whole thing started, you hear the lawyer giving a talk. I was listening to it on Cernovich's video, and she's like, just Trump did something about climate change, and we stand against this, and we stand against that, and we stand against this, and women, and the pill, and birth control, and abortion, and vagina, redhead, vagina, red hair on my vagina, women, vagina, women, old white man. You know the direction it goes. And what this really tells me is she doesn't understand this. Like, I don't want to think Katy Griffin is this dumb. But I do. And I do because she seems to be confused about what happened. Like, I really think the way this is being portrayed is as if she thinks, well, everyone hates Trump. Meryl Streep was a hero at the awards. The guy at Hamilton, bitching at Mike Pence. Well, he was a hero, and I just one-upped both of them, so I should be, like, you know, enshrined in the rebellion of this nonsense. So they're just so drunk on this, what is it, the Trump, what are the people calling it? Trump dementia, Trump dysphoria, Trump. Either way, they're so warped because they can't imagine these consequences. So then there's the conspiracy theories where this is Trump and his family using the power of government to make Squatty Potty fire Kathy Griffin. I mean, like, yeah, I'm sure Trump was like, get me Squatty Potty on the phone. No. Mike Cernovich put out the call. Mike Cernovich let everyone know who your advertisers were. And you guys think he's just a Twitter troll. And it's funny, I played it back because you can hear and hear.
People want, you know, a joke that's out there and a little crazy. So regarding the image that I participated in, that apology absolutely stands. I feel horrible. I have performed in war zones. The idea that this, you know, made people think of this tragedy, to have been touched by this tragedy, is horrifying and it's horrible. Trust me, if I could redo the whole thing, I would have had a blow-up doll and no ketchup. You know, I make mistakes. I'm an out-there comedian. I'm an in-your-face comedian. But I just wanted to say, you know, if you don't stand up, you get run over. And what's happening to me has never happened, ever, in the history of this great country, which is that a sitting president of
isn't that funny? What's happening to me has never happened to anyone in this country. As if it didn't happen to Milo or attempt to happen with Sean Hannity or Bill O'Reilly. So, I mean, so full of herself. She really thinks that she's singled out and she's this special little snowflake that's being targeted and no one else has ever done some fucked up shit and then had advertisers drop them. When in reality it happens all the time. But to her, there's the Trump conspiracy.
United States and his grown children.
Maybe it's actually Putin. Maybe it's Putin that's destroying Kathy Griffin's life. Because, you know, Putin controls Trump. So if Putin controls Trump, does that mean it's Putin that's destroying Kathy Griffin? Just wondering. You know, and I think this is great. Mike Cernovich, I want to destroy Kathy Griffin's life. We must now play by the rules of the left. I agree. I'm not for this higher ground bullshit. Because you know why? Because they use it against you constantly. I mean, there are these Facebook pages I'm friends with that I always see shit that I want to cover because you can tell that they have in their heads the straw man, stereotypical Stephen Colbert, you know, wannabe Republican, Christian conservative, whatever, and they just post these things being like, well, now that Trump's done this, how do you Christians feel about this? Because you Christians are supposed to feel this, and that way. And so I know Trump must have pissed you off because I know how you feel about everything because I know you know, it's like this. They have this imagined image of what you are and your higher ground and everything. So they will just continually gloat and rub it in your face and basically, you know, It's the equivalent of a girl punching a boy and saying, well, you're not going to hit me back because I'm a girl. That's what the left does all the time. All the time. So, I mean, while it may seem silly, when I was watching Mike Cernovich and he's just on this sort of guilt by association, like, oh, well, you know, if Kathy Lee Griffin's doing this, she's friends with these people. Is this spirit cooking? Is CNN in with the Satanism? Is Anderson Cooper participate in satanic rituals? Is this what this is? This looks like Marina Abramovich, you know, this, and that. And just sort of going down these sort of, you know, 6 degree of separation tangents. But that's because that's what they do all the time. I mean, if they can't do a, Donald Trump once had a KKK member in the upper balcony of one of his events. So if a KKK member goes to a Donald Trump event, that's like Donald Trump's a KKK member, right? Right? Yeah, right. Yeah, Donald Trump's KKK. And then, of course, what do you hear? Was it no KKK, no fascist USA? I mean, they have chance in lumping Donald Trump in with the KKK. This is what they do. So, while in reality it seems silly, it's just as silly when they do it. Except, you know what? When they do it, it tends to have consequences. And that's why it's great now that we're doing it, and it has consequences. We know we are in the right. We know we have the morality on our sides. But when it comes to taking them out, because here's the thing, if it really was about freedom of speech, we're not trying to stop Katy Griffin from speaking. She can have a Twitter. She can play at any place that will book her. But there's enough real Americans out there that will loudly voice that she will be so bad for your business, you shouldn't want to touch her with a 12-foot pole. And that's that. I mean, I don't know how Hollywood hasn't come out and been like, oh, yeah, Kathy, we stand by you, this, and that. I mean, you had Madonna saying she thinks about blowing up the White House, even in this article right here, where it's, it's all this kind of snide, fucking smug liberal bullshit. Anyway, I was going to say, she tries saying Trump's destroying his life. I was going to have it play a clip, but it's right in there. I want to destroy Katy Griffin's life. Mike Cernovich has said he wants to do it. He's the one she should be taking issue with. He's a bully, and I've dealt with older white guys trying to keep me down the whole time. Again, the pointing out that he's an old white man. And so that's just, point against him. It's all this sort of, where they name out all this other stuff, and because they're so drunk on the identity politics and everything like that, they really just don't understand how this happened or what's going on. Oh, we never imagined a picture of her holding a beheaded Trump would have been thought of as violent. Oh, we thought everyone would have understand we were talking about, months ago and, what he said to, what's-her-face? It's meant to be a parody of Trump's blood coming out of her, whatever. Oh, yeah, we all would have known that because, Megyn Kelly was represented in that image somewhere, and Fox was represented in that image somewhere, and, the presidential debate was represented in that. No. I mean, and I'll tell you what, if a jury rules on this shit, they're going to have to be deaf, dumb, and blind to believe the shit that they are trying to spin. They are just doubling down. She captioned it. There was blood coming out of his whatever, wherever. It was a parody of Trump's own sexist remarks taken to an extreme, absurdist visual. Yeah, if you had maybe blood coming out of his dick or blood coming out of his eyes, again, but that wasn't what was going on. He was beheaded. So then they say because he said, he brought up, and here's the funny thing, the left uses children as fucking human shields all the time. It doesn't matter if it's about gun control, climate change, or anything. They'll always be like, oh, let's have a 12-year-old lecture us on how much they love liberal policies. I mean, even when you have, like, a little fucking white kid who will come out and be like, I'm so bad because I'm white supremacy all my life, white privilege, it's in me, white privilege, identity. They'll be like, yo, that's the most woke little nigga kid white boy ass I ever seen, so woke, ow, all on BuzzFeed, we gotta have the little kid, oh, I'm afraid of guns because guns go boom. And one day my daddy tried to bring me hunting, and I cried and said I could never show the animal. Oh, that kid's so woke. All on BuzzFeed, all on whatever, all on Huffington Post. Whoop whoop, woke little niggas. Fuck that. All the time. Slam poetry, all this cutesy shit. It's all that fucking lecturing shit, but if it's done in this cutesy sort of by a kid, oh, Obama, Well, folks, a little kid after Sandy Hook sent me a finger painting asking, why do I let all these death machines into the hands of people? There's no need for them. We have a Second Amendment, and you have a right to defend yourself, but these high-powered death machines are, all that bullshit. All the time bringing up kids. And it pisses me off. But then when they bring up and say, how do you think Barron felt about this? Oh, well, then it's, I see how they're trying to spin this. They're just trying to make me feel bad. It's like this ridiculousness, smug liberal problem. That's all it is. He's hoping for a chilling effect. He's trying to shut down everyone. The government cannot retaliate against citizens. The president, she said, took a break from his busy schedule of tweeting nonsense words to target her satire, calling her sick. Melania Trump, who has remained silent about her husband's effort to deny health care to 24 million Americans, how is he doing that? Cut Meals on Wheels and Planned Parenthood. See, notice how, and I don't know if this is, there are quotes in here or where this is coming from, but again, do you see all of the external politics that are being dragged in on this? Things that don't have to do with this are just sort of like, oh, well, let me just, Planned Parenthood, healthcare, Meals on Wheels. What does that have to do with Katy Griffin being a cunt? Planned Parenthood, maybe, but who would want to fuck that anyway? What does it have to do with Cat even here? Donald Trump Jr. took a break from killing leopards and elephants to hound CNN. They're just trying to say, these people are bad. It's probably this cunt, too. And which is, again, why when the news is being presented in such a way, why would this celebrity ever expect to have a negative reaction from what she did? Although she's not retracting her apology, of course not. Griffin is defending herself because if you don't stand up, you get run over. What is happening to me has never happened to anyone in this great country. A sitting president of the United States, his grown children, and the First Lady are personally, I feel, trying to ruin my life forever. Well, see, that's the problem. You're not using your brain. You're using your feels. You guys know him. I know him. He's never going to stop. Listen, little bitch. You are not important. You were not relevant ever. You will never be relevant ever. That little shock picture you had is the closest thing you're ever going to see to 15 minutes of fame, and it lasted all about 15 seconds. And now we're going to banish you to a point of no return. And it's going to be amazing. I'll tell you what, I wonder, I sort of want to, she has red hair, but I was thinking about this earlier. Let's see. Katy Griffin. People are going to hate where I'm about to take this, but I want to know if she's Jewish. You know? And the reason is, when you look at some of these people, Sarah Silverman, Sarah Silverman, Irish Catholicism. Sarah Silverman, who's the other one? Schumer, first generation Irish Americans. Yeah. You just sort of wonder when you have so many of these talentless women, shrill fucking wannabe comedians, like, that's when it sort of gives, like, credence to the whole Jewish community, Jewish conspiracy thing, because it's like, okay, well, you just do have these sort of shrill, obnoxious women propagating a lifestyle. Chelsea Handler's another one, trying to tell women that they should just be drunk sluts and hot messes and that it'll all work out great for them, and haha, it's so funny, laugh at me, live at the moment, my vagina smells like a barnyard animal, I'm such a mess, and it's degenerative behavior. that the Jews certainly don't partake in. I mean, some of them do, but it's liberal Jews and Jewish girls. But in a general sense, the successful ones, they don't have anything to do with that shit. So you just wonder, who keeps putting these losers out there, this talentless batch in Hollywood? I mean, supporting Trump or not, they should be purged anyway. So, wild conspiracy. He's never going to stop. She thinks it's a First Amendment issue. Bloom says Griffin is not a fair fight and wouldn't have been treated this way if she were a man. She noted that Marilyn Manson beheaded a Trump stand-in in a music video, never apologized like her client. Well, you should take that as a plus, that Kathy Lee Griffin is a shred more relevant than Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson's irrelevant at this point. That's why you could do that. And I mean, that shit was in headlines when the trailer for the video was out, and they were just talking about it. I never saw a headline when the video came out. I don't even know if the video came out. I don't even know if an album came out. I don't even know of anything about anything. And like I said, I like some of his stuff, but he's that irrelevant at this point. So maybe you should just tweeted out a picture. Different format. Music video. It's obviously an actor, her doing this picture. I mean, it's stupid either way. But it wasn't about free speech. Again, her consequences are businesses dropping her because of customers complaining. Trump didn't come out and say to this. Mike Cernovich did. You're picking the wrong fight, and you're just going to keep going, and it's just going to be hysterical. So, have a good one, everyone.